Okay, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's move on to the last session of this webinar. And in fact, the last session of this project, because the project ends. But as we already have seen, the challenge is still there. So we have to build a vision for the future and in participation in political and public life. And to do so, we asked participants of the project to give us a brief contribution. They will do some short statements, and between those statements, we will have like short discussion so we can react on it. We can ask a question, and then we'll move on to the next statements. And we do it in three different questions. And the first question is, what else do we need to promote participation in political and public life? And the first who's going to react on that is Fabio. The floor is yours, Fabio.
Hi everyone, I hope you are all okay. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to share this day with you. We all know that people with disabilities have the right to actively participate in public life and in their communities. But for this to be a reality, we need to look beyond physical and digital barriers. Often, the great obstacles are cultural, social, and above all, attitudinal. We need to change attitudes and create spaces where participation is truly a reality for everyone. All the stakeholders must be present and actively participate in the public and decision-making spaces. The project Vote for All shown that this is possible. It opened pathways, strengthened networks, and developed skills learning for the participants as well as for the organizations and people who interact with them. It's demonstrated in practice that democratic participation is strengthened when we create opportunities and with them remove barriers. With vision, planning, and constant collaboration, we can develop in a more focused, cohesive, and collective way. It highlighted the importance of networking, of building strong communities that learn and grow together. And it brought other dynamics, interests, and themes that we consider important to explore further. That's why we submitted our application for the Voice for All project, which emerges from this experience and is now waiting for approval. We should have an answer of approval or not in October. We want to go further. This new project will take the democracy participation of people with disabilities to the next level. We will identify and prioritize key themes that impact the community through policy at local, national, and European levels. The Manifesto for Cerebral Palsy, produced by persons with disabilities in advance of 2024 European elections, will be an essential reference framework. We plan to organize in-person workshops, webinars, a final conference, and produce practical toolkits so that people with disability can actively participate in shaping policies at the European level. The project will focus on the 5 most important challenges for persons with disabilities in terms of how EU policies affect them: inclusive education, scientific research, freedom of movement, employment, independent living in the community. In summary, and directly answering to the question, To promote participation in political and public life, we need four essential things: opportunities, resources, continuity, and consistency. On a positive note, I believe that when change does not happen naturally, it's our role to create. That's what we must strive to do. Open pathways, create possibilities, give voice, and provide necessary resources to build an organization, a city, a country, a Europe where participation is truly for everyone. As the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, democracy is powered by the will of people, by their voices, their choices, and their participation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fabio. And we will move on to Irina. Irina, where are you?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, Regina. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Regina Ozune. I am a physiotherapist by background, and I work in a community NGO in Tirana, Albania.
No, I was first is Irina. Irina. Sorry, Irina was first.
Irena is here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I see you after
Yeah.
Irina. Yeah.
I am Irena's personal assistant. My name is Anastasia. So, Irena, can you help? Can you hear us?
Yes.
I'll help Irena with the interpretational part of her speech, if possible.
Щиро вітаємо вас з України і ще раді за цей цікавий і дуже необхідний проект.
Warm greetings from Ukraine, and we really appreciate the opportunities to participate in such a socially valuable project that you have conducted.
Ми бачимо необхідність продовження проекту, тому щоб залучати якнайбільше людей з віддалених куточків та громад.
We can see the continuation of this project in the representation and involvement of people with disabilities from the distant areas and regions.
Також ми бачимо в тому, щоб залучати політиків, відомих людей для того, щоб вони брали свої команди осіб з інвалідністю та спільно розробляли програми політичної участі людей з інвалідністю.
Another point of view in that in the decision-making processes, people with disabilities must be involved by other authorities and celebrities, so we can contribute to the awareness-raising campaign as well as engage them to the maximum in all the decision-making processes at all the levels.
Також важливо, щоб люди з різними видами інвалідності об'єдналися, спільно створювали продукти по активній участі людей з інвалідністю в політичному житті, щоб вони були цікавими та доступними для різних видів інвалідності.
One more point, we can envision that people with various disabilities must be united by the common purpose to create really equal and peer-to-peer support in all the possible ways. So they have common purpose, and then they can account all the needs of various disabilities to make this purpose to bring into life.
І ще хочеться донести, що інвалідність – це не одна особа, яка є публічною. Це багато людей, які потребують такого індивідуального підходу та участі в всіх процесах. Тому політики мають бути відкриті, а не бути фокусовані на декількох людей, яких вони обрали.
And there is one more very important point, that politicians who have decided to engage and involve people with disabilities in their team they shouldn't be focused only on one or two persons they have chosen. They must take into account the needs of various kinds of disabilities, as well as cooperate with different people from different regions who had different needs, and not to be focused on only one or two personals.
І ще побажання всім таку собі. Не боятися бути неудобною для політиків, а просто бути собою, говорити про свої потреби.
And one wish I have to myself and to everybody else, not to be afraid to be uncomfortable for the politicians or all the important people we know, that we shouldn't be afraid to speak up about our needs and also the opportunities we have. And we have to face all the challenges on our way.
Хочемо подякувати жону та всій команді за те, що відкрили можливість для України бути в проєкті, бути голосом тих людей, які зараз перебувають в війні під бомбами, які переживають важкий час, але вони вірять в те, що вони можуть щось змінити.
And we are very thankful to John and his team for the opportunities to participate in this project and be a voice of people who are now in Ukraine under shelling, under bombs, but they still have a hope that Europe is open for them and all the opportunities they have on the equal ground with all the other European citizens. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Irina and Anastasia as well. And we now move on to Regina and Jenny. So, Regina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Regina. I am a physiotherapist by background, and I'm working in a community NGO in Tirana, Albania, and also I am involved in advocacy for people with disabilities here in my community. About the representation of people with disabilities in Albania, I can say that it still remains very low, very limited. Now there are no elected members of the parliament that openly identify as someone with a disability, and also in the local level, the representation is often symbolic. And even while there are legal framework, we still, they are just written in the paper and sometimes are inconsistent or underfunded. About the importance of such projects, so I have been part of one of the study visits in the Netherlands due to the project Vote4All. And I can say that I'm really thankful to be part of it. And also I was really amazed by the participants, which we could exchange our ideas, but also it made me reflect back home what I can do and my colleagues to do more for the representation of people with disabilities here, and also why not to take new initiatives, let's say. As a non-European country, Albania operates with a different legal and political framework, but yet we face the same challenges around accessibility, representation, and institutional trust. So that's why projects like Vote4All are a good opportunity for peer learning across borders. So far, I think that to be sustainable, each one of us in our home country, we need to build or support structures that don't wait for the next projects. This means, for example, supporting smaller and community-led initiatives throughout the year, where persons with disability are asked directly. For example, in my community, we have a care support group, which part of it, there are families who take care for someone with a disability, adult with CP, and we create a safe space where we share challenges and barriers. And also sometimes we take initiatives to raise our voices to the institutions here in Albania. So I strongly believe that change begins at the local level. So by starting with small and community-based actions, we can gradually then expand, and if it works, we can do it in in the other countries, and also we can reach even regional levels. In thinking about how we can further promote participation in political and public life, my colleague Jane and we have thought about some points on how to build this project in the future too. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Janie and I am a physiotherapist working in an NGO here in Albania too. I work primarily with people with cerebral palsy, both children and adults. As Regina already mentioned, our focus goes beyond rehabilitation. So we are also deeply engaged in programs that support and advocate for the rights of people with disability. When we ask ourselves what more is needed to promote participation of people with disability in public and political life, I believe that the answer lies not only in better politics, but also in real and practical experiences that connect people across different contexts. One concrete idea is to expand the study visits in other countries too, including Albania. Especially as a non-EU country, offering a unique perspective on challenges and innovations around participation. Such a visit could include workshops with Central Election Commission to exchange ideas on accessible voting, visits to local voting centers, and discussions on how these spaces can become models of inclusion, particularly for people with disabilities. If funding allows, we could even pilot an accessible voting center as a model, showcasing how physical and procedural accessibility can go hand in hand and inspire application across the country. By sharing these experiences, I think we contribute to Europe's collective learning, and in this way, Albania can serve as a bridge between EU and non-EU countries, and become a regional reference point for new approaches to accessible and meaningful political participation. So these are some ideas from us. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Regina and Jenny. Maybe someone in the group wants to ask something or wants to react on these statements. You have some time to react if you like. I give you... Yeah, I know. Well, I think it's quite clear. So we have to move on with the project like this, and at the same time we can be a bit, bold. Let's say to show ourselves, and we can also begin small and extend it if it works properly. Let's move on to the second question in this session, and that question is: what other partners do we need on board to get to that inclusion? And to answer that question, here's Claudio with his statement.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Claudio Pirola. I'm from Italy, and I'm chairman of this media network, but here especially I am representative of this European Organization for Rare Diseases. I participated to the study visits in The Hague, and in Portugal. But I would like to start some basic considerations, starting from one example that we are experiencing here in Italy. In a couple of weeks, on the 3rd of October, my organization organized a conference at Regione Lombardia, which is one of the most important regions in Italy, focused on biorobotics. Why do I say this? Because on that occasion, we thought it was useful to invite 3 classes of people interested in the matter, at least we think. First of all, the institutions. Secondly, the university researchers, as well as the producers of the most advanced prosthetics that we can have here in Italy. And then, of course, representatives of associations, sports champions, and people who live the condition of disability. The conference will be, by the way, moderated by Rai TV journalist. Why do I say this? Because the aim is to reconsider the so-called nomenclatore tariffario, which is the reimbursement tables that we have in Italy, which does not include the new technology to support independent living. What does this mean? This is just an example. I think that a plural involvement is absolutely necessary in order to get more satisfactory results. The experiences and the needs can, of course, be told by those who live the condition of disability, but institutions must be constantly involved on a large scale to give concrete answers to the emerging needs. By the way, wasn't that also one of the scopes of the Vote4All project? With this regard, I was quite surprised when in The Hague, at the Ministry of the Interior, you remember the meeting that we had, they said that they were not aware about the work which was being done in the context of the Vote4All project. I refer to the project of Rui Coimbras, which was, by the way, represented again this morning. And the question now is, starting from there, have politicians with whom we had the opportunity to talk tried to create a transnational inter-parties group with the aim to focus on this for common benefits? What is their actual level of attention vis-à-vis this opportunity? Was any step forward in the meantime done? And if so, what are the results? Isn't this a European value? Conclusion. I think that a concrete involvement at EU institutional level is necessary in relationship with the associations who must submit expectations, challenges, in order to improve the conditions of persons with disability and civil society more in general. Is there a possibility, goodwill to create these starting from politics? This is the issue, I think. A structured organization is necessary then, and it's absolutely urgent. If not, a lot of efforts will be vanished. A synergic effort must be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudio. And now we would have had Ope, but I don't think that Ope is present. No, it's not. He's not here. He's not present. So let's move on to the brief discussion. Does anyone has other parties in partners in mind to help us further? I hear someone who does think of other partners to yeah, Elisabeth?
Well, I think that, of course, political parties, we should get involved, but you, at least in the Netherlands, we have one organization who advocates for rights for people with disability, either in. And I think it's very important, as I said already before, that we make a joint effort, and not. Of course, it's important. You should advocate yourself, but also be in a big group, so your voice might be stronger. So I think these non-profit organizations are probably also in other countries are very important. The organizations who represent people with disabilities or patient organizations.
But in other countries as well.
Yes, I think in every country we should, and I don't know whether they have also a network like we have now to speak within the European Union. I don't know, but it should be important.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. John?
I just wanted to bring in one of the comments from the chat from Sonia, where she mentions that it's crucial that we continue to discuss disability issues and thus get the message across to the appropriate authorities in each country, bearing in mind that Sonia is representing the National Electoral Commission in Portugal. So I think going forward, we have to take an attitude of cooperation with different institutions and bringing in the learnings that we have here into a constructive engagement with institutions to help them to. They're the ones that have the leverage, perhaps, to make the change.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Okay, well, let's move on to the third part then, and that's the question: how do we build on this project? Well, Fabio already did speak a bit about it, but we also have Carolina. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Carolina from Portugal, and I'm a person with disabilities. Then I will start that, in my opinion, the best way to integrate young people with disabilities into political life is by making sure that fully understand their rights and duties in the country where they live. And if those rights actually match their real needs and also the difficulties in your daily life that they so can expose to the government. Since it's not easy to get straight to the government because it's very difficult. I know in Portugal it's very difficult to reach it. So I think we need to go like in small steps, baby steps. That like universities, because the accessibility sometimes is not very good, and local councils, institutions that are closer and have direct impact in our daily lives. I believe that's how we can start making difference in politics, and trust me, we do have the ability to change democracy for the better. I think it's super important that we people with disabilities play an active role in defending our interests, showing governments how they can respond fairly to what we're asking for. Then we will be able to achieve conditions that allow us to live with freedom, dignity, and independence. I also believe young people need to take a strong conscious stand against the difficulties inequalities they faced, because it's a lot sometimes, and I think about a lot in the future generations that with disabilities that I think future generations don't need to pass the things that we passed. So I think it's better for them to and I know that is a long way to I forget the word, sorry, but I think it's a long way to get the best world. I think is the best word to use, the best world for people with disabilities. It's a bit different, but I think nowadays the other way to give a voice person with disabilities is the social media, because it's the best tools to reach a lot of people and let them know how we live with disabilities, and to let them then understand the difficulties sometimes we have. I think I can speak for myself and my own experience. I only recently started getting more involved in political life because I entering in law school, and I was turning a point because it gave me a deeper understanding of how my country's government works. It's not good, but it's we can work with we have, and understand the rights and can our populations have, and the people with disabilities have, in specific in Portugal. So, and I, on top of that, taking part in projects like Vote for All, for example, has been a super valuable, helping me learning more about European policies and see how other countries deal with this issue. And the way I can some ideas that in the other countries, like I went to Slovenia, so I take a lot of from their country to take back in Portugal, and try to implement these ideas. And I think these initiatives like these are big steps for changing and the way governments see you young people with disabilities, recognizing our right to live with dignity and achieve full independence. I think in a lot of countries that I explore that don't have the things and the some accessibility and things that help persons with disabilities to be independent in their lives. And I'd like to finish by thanking everyone for their attentions, and especially John for the kind invitation to speak about such an important topic, and for the amazing work he's been doing with the European Union to defend the rights of people with disabilities. And I finishing my intervention.
Well, and then I thank you, Carolina, for your contribution and your participation in the project as well. And then the word is to Luca. Luca, it's up to you.
Yeah. Main thing I want to say that the most important way how we can build on this project is social media presence as much as we can, because the social media for us as the person with disability is the main tool to actually reach the young people, the old people, the government, etc. Second thing, we must first understand our rights and our legislation and to be prepared on everything that we could experience to drive our mission and vision to better future. It is very important to meet up with our local community to share the knowledge, especially from this project and beyond, to show them how we can build the better future together. If they find this interesting, will succeed. But it is very, very important to be engaged in the public life. If we don't engage, nobody will. That's all for me.
Yeah, thank you, Luca. And then we have some time left for discussion, so maybe someone wants to react on it or wants to both to now to have a quick once. No, I'm getting tired as well. So maybe someone wants to react or has a question. So how can we build on this project? Elizabeth?
Well, I think it's important that we keep in touch, and that hopefully now I think it has been a very successful project, Vote for All, and I hope we can continue the contact, the network, and use that for national initiatives or even local initiatives. You can in our group maybe find a speaker or whatever for your national or local initiative to be more present and engaged, like Luca says, in public life. And I hope that we will be able to get to the new project. And Fabio already told us that they have an initiative, an idea for a Vote for All next level. Voice for All sounds really great, and I hope to see more of that.
Yeah, thank you.
Also on other subjects, it doesn't have to be only for because I think being present in public life can be more than only politically present and politically active. For example, like the initiatives we have in the Netherlands for being active in arts, in theater, in dance, can also be important.
Yeah, also for the visibility, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Rui?
Okay, it's to reinforce what all of you have said. This is a long fight with the government, with the European institutions, because this is one only one step of all work we need to do to have a really accessible elections. So my message is don't give up, because in Portugal we are fighting for 7 years and the fight will continue, and we don't know how it will end and when it ends. So we need to keep fight for our rights. Thank you.
Well, let's make a fight of it then. And let's hope that the project of Fabio will have its way, and that we see the younger generation as well, because that's I think the key point of what Carolina and Luca said. Yeah, Fabio.
I just only want to say that the project is from CPEC with some partners from different countries. It's not a project only from mine.
No, no, but we can participate in it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the point. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. We're coming to the closing of this webinar. And we want to close it the way we also started it via the Mentimeter. So we've said a lot, and the question is, what is your main takeaway for today? Because we not only want it to be said, we also want it to be done. So what do you take with you, and what do you do with it after this webinar? So please scan the QR code or go to the website and type in the code. And then we can see what we have like reaction. So if you didn't get in already, you can still use the code in the top of the page, yeah? Not everybody reacted yet, so I'll wait a bit. So I think that I can get an which I do, don't I? Wait till everybody has reacted.
Yeah. So I think, I think most people who've got who wish to have been able to contribute.
Maybe you can react on what you see, John, because you have the last words. Maybe you can react on it.
So I think that the three top words, the number one is community, and then second place, jointly network and participation, though I can see some of those words reappear in other forms, community network and so forth. I think, other key words there are alliances, together we're stronger. So this importance of working together is really key. And it's really something that, at least in the cerebral palsy community, is not one that we've been doing much until recently. So there's definitely a long way to go there. And I think, everybody here is contributing to providing a great foundation for that. And as Claudio was saying in his presentation, there's also the importance of working with other disability communities and pooling our resources in order to make change happen. Also, I think what's really important is seeing the phrases like "your voice matters," power disabilities, yes, we can. These are all expressions about the importance of you as individuals taking action. And that's also something that we really need to take away, is that, and I think it was Luca who said it in his final words there, that we all need to be the ones taking action and making a change. And then maybe also it's nice to note the kind words there about the kindness of the participants, about the good vibes, I think, which have been demonstrated across these different visits, the importance of the opportunity we've had really to meet in person, which was difficult for a long time. We have to continue working online, but having created that sense of community, then hopefully that's something that will make it easier to work together in future.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Today it's Democracy Day, and I think that we've celebrated democracy in all its problems that have to be solved, but we're on our track and we will move on. And this was the closing webinar of Vote for All, but it was just the start to an inclusive democracy throughout Europe. My name is Thijs de Lange, and I thank you for your participation. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Thijs. Thank you for moderating this panel and on this whole day today. You're doing an excellent job. I'd also like to say a word of thanks to the partners of CPECO who organized the study visits in Italy, Francesca, in Slovenia, Agnes, in Portugal is Rui and Marlene and Fabio. For the Netherlands, I see Elizabeth and all of you for participating, because really it is you and your contributions that have made this project such a success. And we're not intending to finish here at the end of one project, but it's hopefully the foundation for others. Fabio's already mentioned that we've put forward a proposal for a follow-up project called Vote4All that really looks at going the next step and focusing on different areas of European policy that are important for people with disabilities. But we've also put in a proposal for a partnership with the European Commission, where we've identified some of the key lessons from this and are hoping to get some funding that will allow us to to do that. And one of them will be a campaign to implement the Vote for All. So we've had all these meetings, we've learned all these things, but now we need to really take this to the authorities in different countries, organize workshops. I noticed that Albania is volunteering to host one of those, and put those into practice. We've also noted the importance of networking, and in particular, one of the things that's really impressed me about this project is the engagement of young people with disabilities in this network, and the extent to which maybe you also need to be able to connect with people in a similar situation across borders. So an online network for young people will be another part of what we're proposing. And then, yeah, cross-disability cooperation, like Claudia was saying, thanks to Claudia's intervention, we've also put forward a proposal that focuses on the rights of children in the healthcare system, where EURODIS, which is the network of rare diseases, and the International Federation of Spina Bifida are partners with us in the project. So really reaching out just beyond our own community. And then, yeah, the last word, we set up this project to create democracy champions. That's what you are. Now, take it away and see what you can change back in your home countries. And we'll hopefully all stay in contact and be able to share good news going forward. Thank you.
And thanks to you, John. Thanks to you. And as I said, have a nice evening, and keep up the good work.
Oh, last thing I was going to say, I almost forgot it, Francesca. Francesca gave us a sneak preview of a new short film that is coming out for World Cerebral Palsy Day on the 6th of October, focusing on trying to shift the way in which people with cerebral palsy are depicted. And we're going to organize an online event shortly before that to present that film, so that you are all invited back for that in a couple of weeks' time. We don't have the date yet, but as soon as it's fixed, then we'll let you know.
Yeah, okay. That's it. That's it. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, and see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.